Angela Davis, social and political views. All right, let's go. I had to get into this. I'm excited about this one. Welcome to King Cam Ujumbe Podcast, Ujumbe means message. And since we discussed Malcolm X, and since we've been on Black History and Black History Month, I had a question. I had a personal question. What was the social and political views of Angela Davis by me? All right. So we're going to talk about Angela Davis, race, her views on race, class, and capitalism. We're going to talk about her views on feminism and intersectionality. And we're going to talk about her influence on modern political movements. And we answer a few questions, but we got a couple of shout outs also. All right. Now, Angela Davis, she was born January 26th. She just had a birthday, 1944. She was a tyrant political and intellectual activist whose work has left a mark on contemporary political and social thought. She's a scholar, revolutionary, and fierce advocate for justice. Davis, she spent decades challenging the structures of oppression that shaped modern society. She earned her undergrad degree at Bradus University, later pursued graduate studies in philosophy at the University of California in San Diego under the mentorship of Herbert Marcuse. Uh, Her academic background is deeply rooted in Marxist philosophy. We'll talk about that in a second. Black liberation and radical feminism. She shaped discourses on systemic racism, capitalism, and state violence in ways that that continue to resonate today. The Throughout her life, she engaged in direct activism and scholarly analysis to expose the interconnected nature of oppression. She has been a prominent voice in the fight against mass incarceration, police brutality, and economic exploitation, linking these struggles in a broader critique of capitalist and imperialist systems. Her ideas on intersectionality and feminism have helped expand scope of feminist thought to include experiences of the black and working class. So it's not just one group of people, but that's just like when we talked about Malcolm X, his view broadened around it being a larger issue as time went on. So, like I said, we're gonna get with her views on race, class, and capitalism. Let's go. Angela Davis views on race, class, and capitalism. All right. Now, she is one of the most prominent voices in the fight against systemic oppression, advocating for an intersectional approach to race, like I said, class and capitalism. But the question is, what is capitalism? We hear it a lot. We hear capitalist this, capitalist that, free market this, free market that. But what is it? Okay. What, in a nutshell, what is it? Okay. Capitalism, by definition, is the economic system where private individuals or businesses own property and control production. Okay. That is the that's the short version of it. That's the short version. Now, the goal, of course, we know the goal of capitalism is to make a profit. That's the goal. Okay. To make money. All right. Now, how does it work? It is based on supply and demand. Okay, when the supply goes, it's a graph that I tell my students. Uh, it's a balance there. It's a dance that's ongoing based on supply and demand, competition, and limited government. Now, you guys may disagree on this, but this is how it's defined. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, all right, because something is going on with these eggs. Okay, you see capitalism live and in color, even down to the doggone eggs, y'all. Uh, is the price of eggs still $15? Okay, that is capitalism at its best. It's ridiculous. But let's continue. Okay, now her political philosophy is deeply rooted in Marxist thought, particularly the belief um, on racism that cannot be dismantled without addressing economic structures that uphold inequality. She argues that racism in the United States is fundamentally linked to capitalist exploitation. Again, she argues that racism in the United States is fundamentally linked to capitalist exploitation as economic hierarchies are reinforced by racial division. Do you agree? All right. Do you agree with a sentiment? Do you agree? Like and comment below. Do you agree with this? All right. Racism and capitalism are one and the same, fundamentally linked. Okay. Let's go. Now, her views on racism is the center idea that systemic racism is not merely an issue of personal prejudice, like I don't like this person, but it is embedded in the very fabric of society. Wow. Yeah, it's in the DNA of society. It is part, it's like the skin of a person it's embedded. It is deeply rooted. Okay. So that's what she thinks. So she critiques the ways in which historical slavery, segregation, and mass incarceration have created a racial caste system designed to maintain the economic and social dominance of the ruling class. So this system, okay, of be it slavery or segregation or the prison system is designed to maintain or to maintain one thing or to do one thing, to have that one purpose, and it is to benefit the ruling class. Okay, what do y'all think? Gotta fix this. Yeah, there we go. So that's pretty interesting because it it can go there. It can be uh deep because capitalism, according to Davis, is it thrives on class division. That's what she thinks. She argues that economic oppression disproportionately affects black people and working class communities, making economic justice a crucial component of racial liberation. Okay? We have to not only free our minds, our bodies, but also our pockets. Okay? So by embracing the Marxist theory, she advocates for socialist alternatives on capitalism, believing that collective ownership and democratic control of resources will lead to a more equitable society. Now, she also critiques that the prison industrial complex, which she sees as a direct extension of slavery and segregation, as we said before, uh, it's a tool. It's a tool uh, for racial and class oppression. Disproportionately incarcerating people of color while generating profits, massive profits for private prison corporations. As you guys know, I just found this out that you guys are very intelligent. Um, that the prison system now is somehow traded in the stock market. Wow. And so that's a big deal. Okay. To even be publicly traded on the stock market, it takes a lot of money and a lot of influence. But for a private prison to be a corporation in and of itself, it kind of begs the question, okay, why are we sending so many to jail for nothing? I understand, crime is crime, right is right, wrong is wrong. But we have more people in the United States. I think statistically, we have more people in the United States in prison than other places around the world. It's crazy. Okay. And it boils down to this: the 13th Amendment. Okay. The 13th Amendment deals with this. It it's just a sleight of hand. Okay. 13th Amendment, United States Constitution prohibits slavery. That's what it says. And involuntary servitude in the United States, except punishment for a crime. Hold on, let me get this. It's like Get this light real quick, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I'm back. So, uh, it's starting the sun is starting to shine in the house, so I got to make some adjustments, right? You got to do that. All right. So the 13th Amendment, though, um, it is it prohibits slavery and involuntary servitude in the United States, except as punishment for a crime. So you basically you would no longer be, say, a slave as in the 1800s, but you'll be a slave to the state. And it's funny that, once you get that stigma and you have served your time and you did all these things, you still are not you're not integrated back into society. And Brother Will asked me a question about the African customs when it come down to the justice system. I talked about that, how rights will be, wrongs will be made right, and that the people will bring that person, restore that person back into society and the other person that they've wronged. That's not the case here. The person is always has to on the application check a box. And I think if certain people are able to get certain positions in the free world, I believe that certain people who have a felony charge should be able to get a job and not check a box. I said what I said, you know, it is what it is. Now, but 13th Amendment was the first of the three Reconstruction Amendments. Um, it's one of the Civil War amendments that expanded the civil rights of all Americans. The 13th Amendment prohibits the enslavement of all races of people. The 13th Amendment, Section 2, I think, gives Congress the power to outlaw racial discrimination by private entities such as housing developers and schools. So people who are trying to flex on housing, HUD, and public education system, I don't think they understand constitutional law. I said what I said. All right, let's go. All right. Now, Davis, she highlights the role of labor exploitation in perpetuating the racial inequality. She points out that historically black workers have been systematically relegated to low wage jobs and excluded from labor protections. And as we know that um, organizations are important and unions are one of those things. So if you are a part of a union, if you're a part of an organization, you have certain protections. We as educators, we are part of a union. But what happened is right when desegregation happened, right between the 50s and the 60s, and even into the 70s, when black people start to get those factory jobs at various corporations and things like that, that's all of a sudden because once you get those jobs at the factories, you would then have to be protected under a union. Once these black people start getting jobs, blue collar jobs, now all of a sudden those positions aren't available to them anymore. They got the degree, they got the education. Remember the Great Migration? They left the South and went to the North, and a lot of those children went on to our beloved HBCUs. They got the degrees. They're ready to roll. Here come the 60s and 70s. You can't get a job. We don't have it here anymore. Or we don't have it. We have it here, but not for you. Yeah, yeah. That's what she's talking about. So she argues that labor movements must address racial disparities. That's what she said. Um, she argues that labor they must address racial disparities in the workforce and fight for policies that ensure fair wages, job security, and workforce rights for all workers, particularly those of historically marginalized background. So she goes on to examine the intersection between colonialism and global economic oppression. So this is as we go on, we realize that this is not just a local thing. This is not just a thing of the South or in Mississippi or Texas or California. This thing is a global economic thing. Just like when Malcolm X, when he went and he left and he saw the world, he realized that oppression was a global concern. Okay. So she contends that many of the inequalities present in the United States are reflections of a broader global struggles against imperialism and neocolonialism. Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. So she advocates for international solidarity among oppressed communities, emphasizing the fight against capitalism must extend beyond national borders and address the exploitation of the global South. But I had to know what is. I kind of had an idea. I kind of had an idea of what the global South is, but I really want to know what the global South is. Okay, let's continue. So what is it? Okay, global South is a group of countries, particularly in Latin America, Africa, and Asia and Oceania, which are typically considered to be less developed economically and politically compared to the global north. Now, if you look, I don't now I'm gonna use this as an example. If you basically any country or group of people south of the equator will be considered the global south. Okay? Remember, okay, disagree, argue, dislike, whatever. But if you look at any country below the equator, that will be, the global south. And the global north is North America and Europe. And so these people of the global south often face challenges like poverty, inequality, and limited access to resources, even though these countries that are along the equator have more resources than any other place in the world. Yep. Said what I said. Hmm. Now, so that's the global south. Let's continue. So Davis' work also explores the ways in which state violence disproportionately affect communities of color. She argues that policing and surveillance systems have been designed to maintain racial hierarchies and suppress resistance. Hmm. This is, she was talking about these things in the 60s and early 70s, how state violence affects the people of color more than anybody else. And policing and surveillance only focuses on one group of people. When they talk about statistics, people don't understand that you can finesse the numbers the way you want to finesse them. Okay, like if a for example, we have two teachers. One teacher that has 100% passing on an exam versus the other teacher that had 50% passing on the exam. They did not, but what they didn't say is that the teacher that had 100% passing, she only had two kids in that class and both of them passed with a 70 versus this other teacher that had 20. You see what I'm saying? So they can finagle what they want. But she argues that police and surveillance system have been designed to maintain racial hierarchies and suppress resistance. And so um, she's vocal about the militarization of police and calls for community-led safety initiatives that do not rely on punitive measures. It doesn't always have to be choke slamming folk. It don't always have to be um, locking this person up. They may just need some help. A lot of these issues sometimes is a cry out for help. Are we listening? Are we paying attention? Or are we just going to write them off? We got to do better with that, y'all. And so her views on race, class, and capitalism form a comprehensive critique on, say, structural inequalities embedded in modern society. Okay. So she advocated for socialism, prison abolition, and economic justice. And she wanted to connect these issues and the need for radical systemic change to achieve equality. All right. So, but my question is, okay, is she wrong to believe that race and class is an issue in our society? Is she wrong? Okay. Is she wrong to believe that it's a problem? All right. Subscribe and comment below. Okay, is she wrong to believe that race and class is an issue in our society? Hmm? And here's another question. Shout out to Brother Mo. Did that ever change about blacks being looked at as second class citizens? Are we still treated as black people in America? Okay, let's be honest. Okay, knowing what we know, are we still treated as second class citizens? Like and comment. Okay, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. All right, because we there's some things that have changed, but there are some things that remain the same. All right. Shout out to Brother Mo. Let's continue. All right. Her Angela Davis' view on feminism and intersectionality. Okay. Now, she played a crucial role in shaping Black feminist thought, particularly through her advocacy for intersectionality, the recognition that race, gender, and class oppression are interconnected. So she critiques the mainstream feminism for historically centering um, the experiences of white middle class women while overlooking the struggles of black working class and marginalized women. So sometimes when we ascribe to certain ideologies, at the end it only benefits them and not us all, not all of us. Unfortunately, a lot of our sisters and even brothers have ascribed to a larger view only to realize that in the end they was getting played too. All right. Um, so she believes that black women's experience is a unique form of oppression that cannot be understood through a singular lens of race and or gender alone. So she used her personal experience and historical analysis. She highlights the ways in which black women have been subjected to racialized and gendered violence, economic exploitation, and political disenfranchisement. So um, she underscores the importance uh, of including the working class and incarcerated women in feminist discussions. Get this, check this out. A few years ago, I think it was on Netflix or something like that. I think it was on like Netflix because they're kind of on the cutting edge when it comes down to documentaries. There was a documentary about incarcerate our sisters being incarcerated, and there was a lot of fires along the West Coast, and these women were fighting fires on the West Coast. But they couldn't. They was told not to speak to anybody, not to say anything. They was fully covered up, so the public didn't know the difference if there was a firefighter, a public firefighter or not, because I can't say real or not because they were fighting fires, right? So these sisters incarcerated, learning a skill, learning a trade, but when they left, they got free. They could not get a firefighter job. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So this this issue, okay, dealing with our incarcerated sisters, um, we gotta speak up on that. We gotta talk. We gotta highlight that. And it's not just the sisters, but the thing is, our sisters do get overlooked in a lot of things, y'all. And that's a sad reality. So, um, it's hard being a black person in the world, but it's even harder to be a black sister in the world. All right. Um, so let's continue. One of Davis' most significant contributions to feminist discourse is her critique on the traditional nuclear family structure. This is what she thinks, which she views as a capitalist and patriarchal institution that reinforces gender roles. So she argues that collective child rearing, economic independence, and community-based support systems are essential for women's liberation. So basically, it takes us all, it takes a village to raise a child. Okay, that Ubuntu mindset. Okay, uh, we have to get back to that collective child rearing. But the thing is, sometimes somebody would say, well, so and so can correct my child, but then when that child becomes 15, 16 years old, now you want the village to help this child. Come on, y'all. All right. It takes a village. It takes loving people, kind people to work together. Okay. So um her views, she has some work on reproductive justice. She critiques historic and contemporary control of black women's reproductive rights, including forced sterilizations, forced sterilization, which means these women, our sisters, at a young age, was forced into a situation to where they could not have children at all. There are a lot of sisters between, say, the in the era of the 70s into the 80s were forced and put into this situation to where um be it they whatever the case may be, they messed up or they got caught up, whatever the case may be, now they was forced to be to go under these procedures. Forced sterilization. Basically a generation lost. Not it's so many things that was happening to us. Okay, we had the crack epidemic, the war on crime or whatever you want to call it in the 80s. Then meanwhile, so we had that on that side. Then we turn around in the hospitals, in the doctor's office, our sisters are being forced to undergo sterilization. That's why we need more black medical doctors that are for us by us. Okay. I tell my students all the time, I tell my students, if you're in a nursing program, you are now a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. I tell them that. If you are in, say, criminal justice, find the justice that will be equal, that will be right. All right. We have problems in our community that you guys can solve. So I tell them all the time. I tell my students, they say they're about to be a nurse. I said, no, you'll be it's cool to be a nurse, but we need more doctors in our community. And this is one of the reasons why. Forced sterilization. Come on. All right, let's go. All right, we got a review. All right, quiz review. Let's go. According to the video, I asked the question. According to the video, the spiritual impact of Malcolm X on the world, who was Minister Malcolm X teacher from Sudan? That's the question. Who was Minister Malcolm X teacher from Sudan? He was Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Sheikh Ahmed Hassoun, or Hussein Abdel Rasul. Now, some of you guys got it right. Some of you guys got it wrong, but I understand why you got it wrong. Some of you guys picked, of course, Elijah Muhammad, but Elijah Muhammad is not from Sudan, y'all. Okay. Yes, he had a great impact on Minister Malcolm X while he was in the Nation of Islam, while he was in the NOI. Okay. But he was not from Sudan. Okay. Next one. Now, some people pick Hussein Abdel Rasul, I think because of his name. I think because of his name. But he was a 12-year-old water carrier during the time of when they was excavating King Tut's tombs. Matter of fact, they just excavated a new tomb, I think it's Tutmosis the second. Huh. I need to look into that. But about 100 years ago, he was part of that, and he's wearing the necklace of King Tut around his neck. So, and I still want to know: do you think the Aswan people and the Nubians taught Howard Carter and them the knowledge of King Tut? Like and comment below. But here's the answer. Okay, it was Sheikh Ahmed Hassoun. Okay, he was a Sudanese Muslim scholar who had taught in Mecca for 35 years. He was sent to Harlem to help Malcolm learn Sunni Islam. Okay. And after Malcolm X's assassination, he performed a ritual washing of his body. So that is the answer. For those who got that correct answer, you got an A for the day. Everybody else got to pay attention. I'm gonna have another question about this one. So get ready. All right. Now, but we are coming up on the Queens of the South. I haven't forgot. All right. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, we got top five queens of Egypt, excluding Cleopatra. All right, it is what it is. We're going to deal with the Temple of Aset. We're going to deal with all those things. All right. And our next book is first female pharaoh, Sebek Neferu. Okay, by Andrew Collins. So the link is in the description. All right, but we haven't forgot about Nubia. We have not. Um there's some things that's coming up that I'm very excited about. And the Nile River War and all these things, just roll with me, hang with me. We're gonna get back to ancient Kush. We're gonna get back to ancient Ethiopia. And because that's my love, really. I enjoy Kemet, but Sudan and Kush has really got my research on a chokehold, and I really like it. All right. Now, but my question is, dealing with Angela Davis, was she a Black Panther? Hmm. Was she part of the Black Panther Party? But according to some sources, she was a friend of it. She was cool with the Black Panther, but she was not officially a member of the Black Panther Party. Okay. And here's some sisters that are in the Black Panther Party. Okay. Right on. They have made a tremendous impact on a lot of our people after Malcolm X passing. We have to understand that all these things was happening after Malcolm X passed. So the Black Panther Party was another result of the work of Minister Malcolm X. But I'm gonna tell you this: the Black Panther Party is not the same as the Black Panther movie. Let's get into it because now what you see when you type in Black Panther Party, I love Chadwick Boseman. I love the Black Panther. I love them, but they're not the same. Okay. Shout out to Huey P. Newton. Rest in power. He was one of the founders of the Black Panther of the real Black Panther Party. So um, there's a difference between the two. There's one is historical, and one is fictional. The Black Panther Party, the BPP, was a real political and social movement founded in 1966 by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Steele in Oakland, California. In Oakland, California, it emerged during the Civil Rights Movement as a response to racism, police brutality, and economic injustice affecting Black communities in the United States. Okay. The party quickly gained national attention for its radical stance on self-defense. They was not the aggressors as what people like to portray them as. Okay. Um, they were deeply involved in grassroots activism, organizing free breakfast programs for children. That was one of the things that made them dangerous. It wasn't them with the black jackets, leather jackets and shotguns. It was them feeding children. Because reality is a lot of our children during that time, they didn't have, remember, this was during the time that they didn't have free breakfast or lunch or whatever in school. So these children, we knew education was important, but you can't learn if you're hungry. So they fed the children, they gave them food and all these things. Okay. So now they have, they're not getting in trouble in school. They're able to learn, they're able to remember and do the work that they're supposed to do. Okay. They had health clinics. They had a sickle cell health clinic. They had because black people are only ones that have that sickle cell anemia, and they did the research on that. Hmm. And so they also had education initiatives to uplift impoverished black neighborhoods. The movement was heavily surveilled and targeted by CONTELPRO, FBI, which sought to dismantle black radical organizations. On the flip side, Black Panther, the movie. Love the movie. Okay. I'm still struggling with Wakanda Forever. Still, Angela Bassett should have got that Oscar. I'm just saying. But it was released in 2018 as part of the Marvel MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is a fictional story. The BPP, the Black Panther Party, is real. Black Panther, fictional. Okay, centered around Superior T'Challa, the King of Wakanda. The film is based on Marvel Comics character Black Panther, and it was this Black Panther. The character was made during the time this all in the 60s when all this was happening. Okay, it was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1966. In 1966. Okay, the same year the Black Panther Party was founded. However, the movie and the real life political movement are not directly related. Aside from wearing the name, while the Black Panther Party dealt with real world struggles, the film presents a fictional Afro-futuristic narrative where Wakanda, a hidden technologically advanced nation, has never been colonized and possessed immense resources. So, but we can get into that. We can, if you like, y'all just let me know. If we need to make a comparison between Black Panther Party and the Black Panther, because we could talk about the activism side and the fantasy side. All right, but y'all just let me know. Talk to me. All right, here we go. Now, Angela Davis' influence on modern political movement. Modern political movement. Okay, her impact on modern political movement is profound and multifaceted. She has served as a guiding intellectual force for activists fighting for racial, gender, and economic justice. Um, Movements such as Black Lives Matter, prison abolition, and socialist organizations continue to draw from her theoretical frameworks and activist strategies. Okay. Now, her influence is especially evident in the push for prison abolition. Okay, Davis' work has provided a foundation for contemporary activists advocating for alternatives to incarceration. There should be an alternative. Everybody don't need to be up under the jail. All right. Now, she played a key role in expanding the public's understanding of how the prison industrial complex sustains racial and economic inequalities, influencing legislative reforms and grassroots efforts. So she has extended into the education and cultural activism. Okay, she has been a strong, prominent, a proponent of critical pedagogy, urging educational institutions to incorporate radical perspectives into curricula. Her critiques on Eurocentrism in academia have inspired scholars and educators to challenge the dominant historical narratives and create inclusive anti-racist frameworks for learning. Thing is, we got to be in a room. We should do our best and be at our best, but when it's time to be in a room, we need to sign up so we can influence, positively influence certain spectrums, okay? And if we cannot, we have to be able to provide a safe space for us to have those discussions, for us to have our own scholars to teach us, okay? To teach us math. We got some retired math teachers that are brilliant. Let's bring them out. We have some wonderful reading teachers. Let's bring them out. Okay. We have to be able to bring our best and brightest and push us all forward into a brighter future. Okay. So her impact also extends in the into artistic and cultural activism, where critiques of systemic oppression have inspired literature, film, and music that challenge dominant narratives and advocate for justice. Okay, she remains Angela Davis. She remains an enduring symbol of resistance, and her work continues to serve as a guiding framework for movements advocating for radical transformation in society. Now, here's some of her notable works. Here's some of her books. Okay, she did a lot of papers and essays, but here's some of her notable works. Race and Class, that was made in 1981. This book explores the intersections of race, gender, and class in feminist struggles, highlighting how Black and working class women have been historically marginalized. Women, Race, and Class, that's a book. Are prisons obsolete? She asked the question. This was in 2003, a powerful critique on the prison industrial complex. Okay. Freedom is a constant struggle. Ferguson, Palestine, and the foundations of a movement. This is a collection of essays and speeches connects contemporary social movements such as Black Lives Matter and the Palestinian liberation to historical struggles for justice. This is a global thing, okay? And the meaning of freedom, okay? Made it another difficult and other difficult dialogues. Okay, that's a compilation of her speeches that address systemic oppression. Okay, so Angela Davis' legacy is one of relentless resistance, y'all. and transformative thought. Her thoughts on capitalism, racism, and uh, patriarchy shaped contemporary political activism and scholarship. So, by linking struggles across race, gender, and class, Angela Davis provides a comprehensive framework for envisioning a more just and equitable society. Her work continues to inspire new generations of activists and thinkers and ensuring that her influence will endure for years to come. All right, now we got some special shout outs real quick. Okay, I gotta get it. Special shout outs. All right, these these are international shout outs, y'all. These people, um, we have we haven't got to the end. Hold on, we got the individual shout outs. The Mesco Converse, Nos Ono, H Rap Browns Go. Shout out to him. One Voice Africa, Sister Linda, Rapimer Addis Agawa, Ansi, Candy Coated Dreams, Anita Cotton, and Zep Teppy Slim. Zep Teppy Slim, what's up with it? Okay, shout out to the fam. They've been either they recently subscribed or they're adding value to the conversation. I really appreciate that. I'm really grateful for you guys subscribe. All right, now here we go. International. This is the thing. We got some people in Germany that have the nerve to listen to little old me out here in Texas. Shout out to the fam in Germany, Canada, the UK, Kenya, Senegal. Much love to the family. Senegal, Japan, Morocco, France, Australia. Man, we up. Okay, we are King Cam Ujumbe Podcast is all over the world now. This has have been a journey, and I'm really excited about it. Shout out to the local fam. Shout out to the international. I'm man, this is great, y'all. All right. So if I miss your country, let me know. Okay. If I miss the country, let me know. Tell me something. Now, the alumni, we need to do like a homecoming, y'all, for the alumni. If you've been with us over a year, if you've been with us over a year, if tell us. If so, how long? Okay, so tell me if you've been with us for over a year. If so, how long? What is your favorite video from us? Okay, what is your favorite podcast so far? What is your favorite podcast so far? This is for the alumni. Okay, comment below. All right, subscribe and comment. So, but I have an important question. You know I do. All right, pinto beans or black eyed peas? Y'all let me know. All right, subscribe and let me know in the comments. All right. So we just got to talking about Angela Davis reviews on race, class, and capitalism. I gotta get back to this question. Hey, pinto beans or black eyed peas? Oh man. All right, let's go. So we just talked about her views on race, class, and capitalism, her views on feminism and intersectionality, her influence on modern political movements. We answered a few questions and gave a few shout outs. All right, we just got to talk about Angela Davis, social and political views. Now, if you want to hear more on my discussion on Malcolm X and spiritual impact, there's a video for that. And if you want to talk about, if you want me to, you want to hear that discussion with me and Mr. Gales, there it is. All right. And I will talk to you later.